Okay, welcome back to Let's Get That Money. Today we have a realtor. He would say he is the what?
The greatest realtor on this side of the planet.
There it is.
Yes, sir.
Don Payne Jr. I've known him a while. So we're going to sit here, we're going to talk to him, and hopefully we can answer some questions to some people that are looking maybe to buy a house, maybe not in the right place you need to be, some information that maybe can help you get there, and maybe you might be on the fence why you should own a house or own some property, or you looking to maybe start a real estate business. But nevertheless, whatever it is you want to do dealing with property, we're going to get there, and hopefully you get some information. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. You don't want to miss them because we're going to start putting them out every week. Okay, we're going to jump right in.
Yeah.
Introductions. Give us just a quick overview.
Yeah, so I'm Don Payne Jr., based out of Columbus, Ohio. Our real estate company is called Vision Realty. It's a family-owned business that's been operating for over 30 years. I've been in real estate over 10 years. And, I help people buy, sell, and invest. And I also invest myself in real estate. And, I love helping people, and I just love real estate altogether.
Okay, we're going to jump right into the first question.
Yeah.
Okay, first question, what we're looking at is... Okay, I'm sorry, let me catch up. Okay, what is it that sets you guys apart from any other realtor out there?
Yeah, so I think what really makes us different is the fact that, we're a family-owned business. I think we also take personal care of each and every client, and I think we're very responsive, as well as we have a deep knowledge of our market and relationships with other realtors and just real estate altogether. So when we look at a house, or we take a client through a house, or our team member take a client through a house, we're going to answer questions, bring up thoughts, tell them about problems that we can see, as well as advise them in the right direction. I'll give you an example. I got a client buying a house right now in a suburban school district, and they're very excited about the home. But I told them, make sure you get a sewer line inspection, right? Sewer line is the pipe that goes underneath your ground of your house to the street. You're responsible for. And with trees in the yard, that can need to be replaced within every 10 years, and that can be very expensive to dig that up. And again, that inspection's $300, which can save you $20,000. But again, it's just these little tidbits that people don't know to tell their clients, just because they don't yet have the experience. So I think the big thing is working with the experience, working with the advice, and also working with a reputable company that a lot of people recommend.
Okay. So just kind of looking into that a little bit. So pretty much what you're saying is when you take a client to the house, you're not just trying to sell them that house and get their money. You're trying to make sure that they're prepared, not just for obviously payment, but something else that might be unforeseen. Because a lot of new home buyers, they don't know.
They don't know. And that's the thing, like, it's never perfect, because that's one thing about being a homeowner is you're responsible versus being a tenant. The landlord is responsible if you're a tenant. Being a homeowner, you're responsible. And the thing about that is that, like, you get to ride the ups and the downs of home ownership. The downs are going to be the maintenance and the things that are pop up unexpected that you got to go into your savings to fix. But the ups is when the value goes up, you can take advantage of the equity, or you can sell the house and make money. Whereas as a tenant, the money you put in, you don't get back. So that's the kind of the ups and downs of being a homeowner. And that's the thing we want to advise people on being prepared for.
Okay. And that's another point that just so everybody understands is when you own a home, like you said, when you rent a place, something breaks down, then it's up to the owner to repair that. You are the owner.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure that you have some funds set aside or some means to get something repaired if indeed something goes wrong. In a new house, it's definitely possible that even an older house, doesn't matter if you've been in the house a while, things just happen. So make sure that we're putting money up so that way those unforeseen things you'd be kind of prepared for.
Absolutely.
Okay. What motivated you to be a realtor?
I'd say the first thing that motivated me, my dad's been in the business for quite a while. And when I was in college, I got into network marketing, started doing some, person-to-person sales. I started realizing that I actually liked it quite a bit. You know, I like seeing people happy, like seeing people get results from the actions that I'm taking, and realized that corporate America may not have been really for me. Once I got started and I seen the gratification that I felt from people getting their dream, you know, especially a lot of first time home buyers who didn't even think they could buy a home, that really inspired me to continue to do it, because it's definitely not easy, but it does look more glamorous on TLC than what it may be in reality. But yeah, I mean, that definitely inspired me to keep going.
Okay. Okay, this is a two-parter.
Sure.
What's the best thing and also the worst thing about being a realtor?
Oh man, and that's a one-word answer. The people. The people are the best thing and the worst thing, right? Because the people can make you feel like you had a great day and you're the savior of their life and situation, or they can make you feel like you're the most terrible thing that they've ever ran into. And the thing about buying a home or even selling a home, it's a very emotional process, because it's such a large investment, such a large piece of your life. So when things are going on that even are not in the realtor's control, you feel like you need to blame somebody, and that's most likely gonna be your realtor. And so as a realtor, something I had to learn too about 3 years is to maintain that emotional stability through the process, because you're the one that's supposed to be the stability. You don't go on a roller coaster with the client, right? That's not something you do. They can go on a roller coaster, but you gotta remain steady on the water like a duck on water. You know, paddling fiercely, but on the top, everything looks good, because that's what they need to know, that it's gonna be okay, which it is. Once it all gets closed and settled out, it's gonna be okay. But the people are definitely the best and worst part of the job, because some people can definitely call you after hours or really kind of give you a hard time, and some people will make you feel like, man, they appreciate you so much, they're so grateful for you being in their life at this point in time. So yeah, that's it.
And being an entrepreneur for many years, I definitely can actually understand exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
You can have some great customers. You can have some customers to where I'm thinking about getting all black and waiting on them to pull up in the driveway.
Yeah.
But obviously, like you said,
I just had to think of what you said.
yeah, you got to be that. You know, you got to have thick skin.
You said.
And you can't let them drag you into that emotion. So yeah, that is definitely it. And I mean, you have that demeanor that you can kind of hold on and not let somebody drag you.
Yeah, and it took some years to develop. I mean, I still tell this story about one of my clients that to this day we're good friends, but back in the day I was still growing up in the business, and a client was bullying me a little bit, and I was letting it go on. I was feeling bad every day because the lady was giving me the blues on text messages and calling me about this particular issue we were having. Finally, my dad said, "Hey, look, you're being bullied and you need to put it into it, because I'm not going to do it for you." And, I put together a whole thesis pretty much, and telling this lady what was wrong. I tried to meet in person, didn't work out, but I sent her an email, and after that she apologized, and our relationship has been the greatest ever since. But it's one of those things where as a new realtor, it's hard to maintain. Because you don't know what to expect. You may not even have bought a house yourself yet, so I get it that you're not sure, but or not yet confident, but you get there. But that's one big thing. Maintaining that emotional stability is key.
No doubt. And I'll make one more point and then I'll move on. Because I know there's times that I've had customers that I could not come to a common ground with.
100%.
And those customers, I just had to tell them, you know what, it's better for you to find somebody else to do this work for you, because I'm not the guy. So,
and I gotta say on that point right there, I think it's probably been in the last 3 years that I've been able to turn business down. Because my days say, man, you you don't turn nothing down but your collar,
Yeah.
And that was the thing. Like, I would take on all kinds of business, all types of wild situations, all types of goose chases, and just it seemed like it was gonna help somebody or it was gonna make some money. I was gonna do it, but like you said, nowadays you kind of seen a lot of situations, a lot of scenarios. Being an entrepreneur at this point, you say, nah, don't really sound right. Or it's not really worth the time. And again, it doesn't mean somebody else is not able to help that person. And I think really when you're a young agent, sometimes you do need to take those risks with your time. I know it doesn't sound good, but that's how you learn. I gotta say there's been a couple times that I took some really nice risks with my time and with not really knowing the situation, and it really panned out later on. with that relationship or even with those home sales. And then there's been other times I wasted time, and not wasted time, I took the time, I invested it, and unfortunately it was a bad investment with that particular client. So it's a win-win, but it takes time to build the book of business.
And like you said, you learn, because I know when I first started out, you had to learn the customers. Like a lot of times I can meet a customer one time and know if they're going to be a problem customer.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't even, and usually that customer, I usually either will not return an estimate or I'll return an estimate so high that it's going to be worth my time to deal with it. But you have to maintain your peace. At least with me, that's important. I got to maintain my peace, and I can't put myself in a situation to where I'm not going to be at peace.
Absolutely. You know? And again, we're talking about as experienced entrepreneurs, and I think when you're starting out, you got to just take the risk. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, then if you need the money, sometimes you got
you're gonna have to learn the lesson one way or the other.
You got to bite the bullet.
You're gonna learn the lesson by getting coaching or have somebody mentor you, or you're gonna learn the lesson by just getting the experience. And a lot of people are entrepreneurs because they're somewhat hard-headed and they rather just go ahead and learn some experiences. Most time, most time entrepreneurs, that's just what makes them kind of good, is being a little bit hard-headed.
Yeah, and then obviously to be a good business person or work with, I don't care what it is you're doing, you have to be able to learn from other people's experience. So if you have people around you, talk to them.
Yep.
Learn from their experiences. Obviously, learn from your own experiences, and you don't repeat those things. So that way, now you already got a head up. You can have a little, I talked to such and such, and he kind of told me this. So make sure you take advantage of all your resources. Everybody that's been doing something that you want to do, or that you're, family member, friend, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
Talk to that person and let them help you out, to where maybe you don't have to get the lumps and bruises, because I've got lumps and bruises.
Yeah, and I do too. And my dad had plenty of his own, but I can't say I always listen. So sometimes you just gotta learn it your own way. And sometimes, especially from folks that been in business, or they seen a neighborhood, or they seen a situation a long time ago, things change. And sometimes you not listening, you discover a niche that does really well for you. So that's another thing about, again, being an entrepreneur. Sometimes being hard at work, because James, you've been an entrepreneur over 30 years, 20 years?
It's a long time,
Yeah, so it's like, you might have told me something, and I'm like, well, times have changed, right? And I go do it and it works out, or I go do it and I learn, that, he was right.
Yeah.
So it just comes down to it.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Is there any time that you question, and this kind of ties into it, but is there any time that you actually question your decision to be a realtor?
100%. 100%. I think that it took me about 6 years to make the money that I felt like, oh man, like I'm able to live.
Make a decent income.
Make a decent income.
Okay.
To make a decent income. And I think that the first 3 years, 3 or 4 years, I questioned, like, could I be doing something else? Could I go relocate and live somewhere else and do better? Could I consider having another job and this job at the same time? Should I go back to college? I had a lot of insecurities at it, that I drive a flashy car to be a realtor. I think there's a lot of insecurities there, but I think once you start kind of building your book of business, you put your little savings back, you get a little more comfortable with your decision, And some people, that's their first year. That just wasn't mine. I think there was an age and experience thing that I had a gap on, that I had to fill that gap. And I think some people, they might come out of corporate America and they're making great money their first year as a realtor because of the relationships they already have built. So it just depends.
Okay, how were you when you got started?
20 years old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was 20 years old when I got started.
Okay.
Yeah. I was 20 years old when I got started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, what advice would you have for somebody who's looking to be a realtor, get into that line of work?
I would say go to real estate school and get your license. I also would say that's number one. Number two, I say go find a team to work on that's very successful. And I'd say work on that team for about 2 years before you decide to either go out on your own or stay on the team. And I think with that, you're going to get a lot of experience. You're going to do a lot of transactions. You're not going to get the highest commission split that some companies offer, but you're going to get the experience that if you do go out on your own, you'll be able to continue that business on your own. And so I also think the third thing is, if you want to make it a career, then find a way to go full-time if you can, if you can. There's a lot of part-time agents, but when the market changes, a lot of people just go back to being at their job. If you can go full-time, there's a lot of opportunity out there, but it is tough to be full-time.
Okay, and then like you mentioned, go out on your own.
Yeah.
What does somebody have to do to go out on their own?
Yeah, so if you want to be, so you can work for what I would call discount brokers, or companies that don't charge you much to work there, and you're essentially on your own. You pay for your own marketing. You get majority of your commission. You find your own leads. You just run your own business altogether, right? Or if you want to start your own real estate brokerage company, you have to have a 2 or 4 year degree, and you have to have done a certain amount of transactions. I think it's over 40 transactions at least in the state of Ohio, and then you can start your own brokerage.
And that's all you would have to have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There's no test or.
There's a test too as well. There's an educational requirement and a test.
Okay, so that's on top of being a realtor.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. For most realtors, the retirement, you kind of build your own and pay for your own. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So usually nothing's offered there, so you have to make sure that you are getting your own stuff set up.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So that's why a lot of people buy property, or they just start making contributions. Because the thing about most realtors, they get pre-tax dollars. So how you spend those dollars, you can also write off come tax time, and therefore not get hit as high as maybe a employee would. Right, so that's the benefit of being a realtor, but it's also a game plan or a strategy you have to work with an accountant for.
Oh, so when you get paid, so you sell a house, you get paid. They're already taking tax out there.
No, they didn't take the tax out yet.
Okay.
You pay the tax at the end of the year.
Okay.
So if I want to pay less tax, I need to put more money into my retirement account, or I need to spend it on marketing or whatever I may need to do.
So you can have that as a write-off.
Yeah, as a write-off. Yeah.
Okay.
To end up paying less taxes.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna move on to the. I got a few more things, and then the buyer side. I'm some buyer side come back.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything that you think you want to add as far as on the realtor side that I missed?
No, I think we're okay for right now.
Okay. Okay. Now, when we're looking at a buyer, what benefit do you see as for someone looking to buy a house, who want to buy a house?
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest benefits is going to be that home ownership and that equity that you build, as well as control of your own space. You live in an apartment or you live in a rental house, you can't have a certain size dog. You can't always paint the walls the way you want or make adjustments or improvements that actually benefit you in the back end. I think that's something really, really valuable about home ownership.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And what kind of advice would you have for someone that's looking to purchase a house or questioning should they buy a house?
Oh, wow. And then I think a lot of people that question if they can even buy a home, and I think it's a good question, but also just know that if you can get your credit score to 620, you can buy a house. I would say 660 opens you up for down payment assistance. So just know that credit is going to be one thing. Another thing is going to be your income and your debt to income. But a lender can work all those things out. So I say at least start the conversation, start the process, and just know it might take you 3 months, 6 months, a year from when you start to actually make that purchase, make that transaction happen. Excuse me.
Okay, we are going to speak to a lender, not today, but we will here eventually. But I am going to kind of follow up question on your answer there.
Yeah.
What information, just an overall, for the first time homeowners, actually, what does that offer to someone who's first time home buyer, and what kind of assistance can they get through that program?
I mean, depending on what neighborhood you buy in, you might walk into a house with as little as $500 to $1,000 down. And, typically your down payment plus closing costs could run you a couple thousand, $3,000 to $10,000 or more, depending on the size house you get. But so there's a lot of great programs out here for first time home buyers. And just to drop a few names, there's the Grant for Grads, there's the City Down Payment Assistance Program. I mean, there's even the CRA program that if you buy in a certain neighborhood, Banks are giving you 100% financing. There's a veteran program as well, 100% financing. So it's just there's a lot of good options out here, but the thing that's going to have to be handled before that is going to be credit and making sure that you have recorded income.
Okay, and just to be clear, 100% financing is meaning that you do not have to have a down payment.
Yep. And then you might pay for an appraisal or something, so you might
And that's
literally
not much.
Yeah, you might literally walk into a house and you paid $500,000, $1,500 to get into that house. And like we talked about at the beginning of this conversation, you still don't have some money set aside for any updates or repairs. But we also have a insurance policy for that called a home warranty that covers a lot of that stuff for you the first year. A lot of those small repairs, updates, minor electrical, minor plumbing, your appliances, and also your HVAC and hot water tank. So, I mean, there's a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. Mm-hmm. I think what it comes down to is having access to this type of information, and then therefore building the desire to do it, and then getting over the hump of that process and being a homeowner. Because I will tell you, man, there's so many great stories I could tell you of clients that, I think about my client Tequila. Tequila had 2 kids. She bought her first house, I think, back in 2017. She could afford a $500 a month payment, so I sold her a $65,000 house, right? Mm-hmm. She bought that house. We sold that, I think, last year or 2 years ago for $140,000, and she rolled that into a bigger house where it was, I think, 5 bedroom, 2 bath with her and her husband and her 4 kids at that time because her family got bigger. And it's just the fact is she was able to take that equity and put herself in a better position into an even better neighborhood for her and her family. And just seeing her life grow is totally amazing. It's a great thing about home ownership. You can kind of pivot, And I got more stories where that comes from.
Okay. Home warranty. You mentioned home warranty.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what do you have any idea what the cost of like a home warranty is for like per year or something?
Yeah. Usually it's around $650.
$650.
$650
for a year.
Yep, and seller usually pays for it for the first year. If it's in your agreement, if your realtor put in your agreement, then it's in there. It can be anywhere between as low as $500 to about the highest is like $850.
Okay.
And you can renew it every year yourself. So like the home warranty company usually will call you for a renewal, or you can go online and renew it. Like if you want to renew yours here, you could do that too.
Okay. And just to add to that a little bit. Home warranty programs, they all are not created the same.
Yep.
Some will cover, I heard some cover even things that are pre-existing. And I've seen other ones that if it's pre-existing, they will not cover it.
100%.
So make sure when you get in a home warranty, dig into it, look at the reviews, see what people are saying, see what they cover, see what they won't cover. Mm-hmm. Because just because they say it's a home warranty, something will break it. Oh, well, that was already damaged, or that was already so.
Based on your inspection.
Yeah.
100%. It's based on your inspection. And that's where they're going to find out about the pre-existing conditions.
Yeah.
So you want to also get some of those things remedied as a part of your inspection.
Yeah. Yep. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at home warranties. We already said the credit score. You said credit score. You're looking.
You can get a house I'd say really as low as 620. There's some programs that are even lower than that, but those are special circumstances. So 620, they get you in a home. But I say 660, it opens up for a lot of the down payment assistance programs.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now, I'll get into this more with the mortgage side. But then the down payments program, when they give the down payments assistance, does that make your interest rate higher?
So some do, but some are just grants.
Okay, so if you get the grants, then that will make you.
The grants is pretty much free money,
but
you just have to live there for at least 5
so many years before, and if you sell it, then you owe that money back,
or a portion of it.
Okay.
Yeah. Those programs are to create stability in neighborhoods. That's the main point that they want. They want more home ownership, more stability in neighborhoods. Because when you have a good mix in the neighborhood between renters and homeowners, it creates a healthy neighborhood. That's the main purpose.
I mean, and then in most cases, not all cases, but in most cases, a homeowner is going to take a little more pride, a little more attention into what their property looks like.
In most cases,
versus a renter, because a renter, they don't have any ownership. It doesn't belong to them. So
and also the landlord may not be a little negligent as well. So I mean, I agree.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So without question, yeah, home ownership, and I mean, yeah, a neighborhood with more homeowners is going to usually get a better neighborhood.
Yeah, and that's a lot of these programs. They're also targeted at some of these rental neighborhoods to create more homeownership inside those neighborhoods. That's where a lot of the grant money is at. It's also where a lot of the 100% financing is at, because the banks are incentivized to do loans.
To try to do that,
Yeah.
try to bring some of those neighborhoods up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So I think that in this present day and age, the government and the cities and the banks have more of a mandate on seeing these neighborhoods come up a little bit more and be a little bit more equitable, as well as being more beautiful. So I think that's where this is all stemming from. I think systematically things have transitioned to wanting to be at a different place, or at least from the exterior look different.
Question: what kind of, or where can somebody get education or get educated when they're looking to purchase a property?
So there's a couple places, at least in my city, in our county, a place called Homeport offers up to 4 classes that will teach you about the home buying process. At Vision Realty, where I work, we also do a home buyer overview, 30 minutes to an hour on Zoom or in person, where we go through the process A to Z and show you the process as well as answer your questions. And then I know that CMHA and Ohio State Extension also offers classes to help people get more educated on home ownership.
Okay. And based on what you've seen in Columbus, obviously,
Yeah.
what kind of appreciation do you foresee, say, in like 5, 10, 15 years?
I mean, long as barring we don't have a major world war or anything like that, I see massive appreciation happening in Columbus simply because of the amount of job creators coming here and how good the Midwest is for employment. And with employment, you got demand. People want to be in certain school districts, so they want to live in certain areas. So I think that Columbus is going to continue to see growth. And I think one of the biggest things that for us that are natives here, we have to realize that if we go back in history a little bit, the 2008 crisis, Ohio was the top 5 foreclosure state. Ohio, Florida, Las Vegas, those areas were hit really hard. So, at what prices are today, they were 20% of what they are today back then. But we might be appreciating by another 5, 10, 15% over the next 5 to 10 years. But I can't predict the full future on that. I can just simply say an expectation from my end is that it's going to continue to grow because people are having good jobs and what they can afford has also grown.
Excuse me. Okay, switching gears here. What kind of advice would you have for someone looking to get in real estate investing?
Absolutely. So when it comes to real estate investing, there's 3 main types of investing. There's long-term holding, so that could be renting homes, that could be doing Airbnb, VRBO. That could be any type of real estate where you're getting a monthly, quarterly, a weekly or daily return off of it. There's also flipping homes, so that could be fixing and flipping homes, that could be buying and selling property, that can be buying and selling contracts, aka wholesaling. That's the second type of investing. Third type is going to be making money off lending money on real estate deals. You could loan to somebody who flips, you can loan to somebody who rents a property, you can loan on their earnest money, you can loan on a transaction. Those are 3 main ways people make money in real estate. And before you get super involved in them because of the size of the investment that it takes to do these things, I advise getting educated. Starting with biggerpockets.com, going to YouTube, searching some of these topics, and then going to your local REIA. REIA stands for REIA, Real Estate Investors Association. In your local area, go in there, meeting some people, building some relationships, piggybacking and seeing what they've got going on, and then making your decision on how you want to get started, because you want to be careful with the funds, because real estate, again, is a massive amount of capital to also make good money, right? So you just want to be smart as you make your moves. But get educated, find you a good realtor, find you other good investors in your area, and then from there, start making investments and take the time to get educated.
Okay, so that's pretty much everything I needed to ask you, or I wanted to ask you. We're gonna wrap it up. Before we do that, do you have anything else you want to add? And give us another shout out. With your business and your information.
So I'm Donald Payne Jr. www.visionrealty.com. My company is called Vision Realty. It's family owner operated for over 30 years in the Columbus, Ohio area. So we do all of Metro Columbus, Metro Central Ohio, as well as in Dayton now as well. And the last thing I want to add is just want to thank you, James, for having us on the show. I want to thank you for you that watch and listen, because we want to continue to educate people on the value of home ownership, because I've seen a lot of people buy their first home, be scared, be nervous, make that investment, make that transition in their life from renter to homeowner. Then they made that transition to begin their second home. And I just seen their life increase and appreciate and get better. And I think being a homeowner, you can dictate the path of your life a lot more than being a renter. And so I encourage you to take that step to get your first home and go through the hurdles, challenges it may take, if any, and be successful.
Okay, totally agree. I'll add a link. There'll be a link on the video to where it'll take you. You guys have a website now?
Yep.
Yeah, take you to the website. I know everybody got good information today. I already know. I don't even need to ask. Good information. Like we said, real estate investment, buying property, somewhere to live. You have to live somewhere, so you might as well own where you live. The one thing, and you see I got a little stuck.
Okay.
But the one thing guys not making any more of is land. You have to live somewhere. Property values going to continue to rise because there's going to be less property for more bodies.
Absolutely.
So buying property is never a bad idea. Obviously, you don't want to overpay for it, so that would be a bad idea.
If you hold it long enough, you would.
Yeah, exactly.
You
If you made a bad deal, you hold long enough, you'd be profitable.
Yeah.
Ideally, that's not the step we want to take. But if you do, it's still that's one of the things you can make a bad investment and still turn into a good investment.
100%. That is true. I don't know if you can do that with it.
You can pay too much for a car. I doubt that car is going to be worth it.
Can't do it with a car.
Yeah. So yeah, home ownership is one of the best things you can do. So we're talking about let's get that money, let's get that property. If you don't own a home, get you a home, something that you can call your own. With that said, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. You don't want to miss what's coming up. We're going to have some follow-up on these. Talk to Realtor. I've got a niece who does Airbnb. We're going to talk to her so you get some ideas on how to maybe get that business going. With that said, let's get that money and make it happen.
Let's get that money.
There it is.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Like you on swole too, man. You didn't.
Hey, man, I might have been eating too much, man.
Yeah,
I've been working out.
Have you?
But I gotta get my car intake a little down a little bit.
Are you still working out with the?
Yeah, I just got back on with them, man. Last year we weren't really getting it. I